Hello, this is Stitchy Witchy Bee. I'm Bee, my pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel about and for cross stitch. Today is March 1st. I'm going to go over what I worked on in February and briefly discuss some of my plans for March. Thank you very much if you are a returner. Welcome if you are new. Just as a quick reminder, some of my goals for 2026. I started out the year with 109 works in progress or projects, and I hope to work on 9 unique projects each month that I have not worked on previously in the year. So that way I can try to work on all of my projects by the end of the year, at least a little bit on everything. I'm trying to do a minimum of 500 stitches on everything that I touch, just to try to make some type of legit project progress on it. Of those 9, at least 3 of them are going to be finishes, just to try to bring my number of projects down. I also will be working on one of my extra large projects, most of which are full coverage, but not all of them. But that's anything that's 50,000 stitches or more total. And then I'm also doing a modified version of WhipGo. I know a lot of people for WhipGo tend to pick a very specific project for each of their squares, for their bingo squares. I do more general categories. That's a little bit easier for me and my ADHD. So like some of them are by designer, if they use a specific floss dyer, things like that. That's just a little bit easier for me. And if you have not heard of WhipGo before, that is done by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. Highly recommend her channel. So for this month, for February, I did just over 16,500 stitches, which is fantastic. I'm very, very happy with that. And as usual, I will go over all of my finishes first. That's just kind of how I tend to operate. They'll be slightly out of alphabetical order this time because 3 of my finishes, I did go above and beyond this month. 3 of them are by all the same designer. So we'll just kind of go through all of those pretty quick. And I will need something white as a background for this because the fabric will not show up nicely otherwise. I've been trying and it just does not want to show. This one I think is the most difficult one. It does not want to come out right. It's still showing up a little bit more coral than it is. It's in person. It's a very, very pretty bold pink. This isn't I didn't do a very good job of making this even, but this is kind of the best I've been able to get the color to show up. Yeah, that's about all we're going to get for it. This pattern is Cher and Cara by the Witchy Stitcher. I did it mostly using called for, but with a few random little swaps, nothing too crazy. Another pattern, oh sorry, this was on 18 count Raspberry by Fiber and Whim. Very sorry. Another of the finishes I did by the Witchy Stitcher is Ghostface Valentine. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to fold the fabric again a bit. This is done on an 18 count Ardor by Witch's Garden Crafts. The original pattern was done on dark fabric using pink flosses. So I did it on red using a bunch of grays and black. Very happy with this. And then the third pattern I did by the Witchy Stitcher that I finished is I went to have your Rabies. I did this again using called for from Stash, very close to it. This is a 32 count Pearl Gray by Zweigart. Did it 2/2. And this one was, I think, the easiest finish I had. I had already done most of the design. I just needed to come in and do kind of this bit of framing on the outside. The other 2 finishes I did, one of them was my WhipGo pull for the month. And this is Furbo Nightcrawler. No, Furbo Night Stalker. Nightcrawler, which is based off of cursed Furbies, and I'll put a picture up of what those tend to look like, and the Fresno Nightcrawler, which is a cryptid. That was the Whipco square, was cryptids. I had thought I had a pattern already started with cryptids on it. I didn't, so this is both a start and a finish. I did this 1/1 on 28 count, just a plain black Zweigart even weave, which was a crazy decision. If I don't entirely, I mean, I do kind of know why I did, but I also don't. There was very little logic behind it, but I was also really delighted with how it ended up looking. I'm very happy with it. This is a pattern by Night Spirit Studio. And then lastly, the finish, I think this might be, I know it's only February, this might be my favorite finish for the entire year. Actually, I don't need this anymore. This is 100 Hearts by Samplers Not Forgotten. I did kind of a goth reworking for the color scheme. It does look very different in the called for, which I will actually post a picture of. I don't always, but this one I will. I'm so incredibly happy with how this turned out. Every single moment of it. This is a 32 count Frankenstein even weave from BeStitchMe, and it was just a complete hodgepodge of what I used for the colors. I can make notes on it if anybody wants, but it's just going for a lot of darker, moodier colors ultimately. The text and the hearts are over 1, which is I think where my 1/1 on the Furbo Nightcrawler came from. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. Yeah, I'm just so happy with this. This one I probably will actually finish as a pin keep or a small pillow eventually. But I'm so happy with how that turned out. My stitching I don't think has ever looked better. But that's it for my finishes. And then I did some additional projects. I had originally wanted to do, so my other Whipco call was for something with Pirate and Robin floss. And I originally pulled this pattern, which is the Coffee Sampler by Studio HMP or Happy Mood Point. I originally was going to do this one because the two floss colors I'm doing this with are a silk from BeStitchMe called Fudge and Pirate and Robin Toasty. But just the way that I divvied up the pattern, the easiest things for me to work on were all with Fudge. So I traded out for a different pattern to qualify for that Whipco square. This one I just worked on as one of my general projects for the month, and I'm very happy with it. This is a 20 count Cold Foam by BeStitchMe, which just seemed incredibly fitting given the fact that it's a coffee sampler. Like I said, this is all in Fudge by BeStitchMe, and then I'll be coming in with a highly variegated with browns and creams for other parts of the pattern. And then as a part of the fallout from doing the over 1 on 100 Hearts, I picked up one of my Carolyn Manning pieces and I was working on it, and I probably only got a couple hundred stitches in, and I realized that there was an error somewhere and I couldn't figure out exactly where it was. And if you've ever worked on a Carolyn Manning, there's, I would say probably 95 to 97% of her patterns, you can't just fudge a mistake, or at least not easily. If there's a mistake that you are trying to go with, you're going to have to continue to go with it repeatedly because it's all repeated. And I could not easily figure out where it was. I was just a little bit annoyed with it in general. It was originally being done on just like a 14 count cream, I think. And when I was trying to find fabrics for the Furbo Nightcrawler, I ended up finding a scrap of 25 count and decided to restart my Carolyn Manning on it. So this is Common Buckeye. Hopefully it's all showing up. Yeah. Of course, the thing that's holding my phone is covering directly where I'm trying to put my pattern. This is just what's called for. This is the full width of the piece, so it'll probably be done by about where this crease is in the fabric. I might even be able to put the other Carolyn Manning I have here if I really wanted to, because I think they're the same size. But I love it. Over 1 on 25 count. It's so cute and small, and I didn't think that was going to be a thing, but I'm really enjoying it. I don't know. And then the pattern that I ended up picking up to fit the Pirate and Robin whip-go pull, I will have to adjust this a bit to fit. So this is All Are Equal in Death by Modern Folk Embroidery. This color here is all Pirate and Robin floss. It's called Autumn Harvest. This is being done on an 18 count Bonfire by Witch's Garden Crafts. This is actually that toasty that I was talking about that I'm putting in on the coffee sampler. I did that for the coffin. And then the words and skeleton are in Light Aged White by Valdani. But yeah, so this was my work on using a Pirate and Robin floss for the month. I am being slightly fussy without being overly obnoxious about it. I'm just trying to get roughly within the same general color scheme as I'm going through, so it isn't too sharp of a break. And then my large project, or extra large project, that I worked on for the month was Among Shadows and Branches, which is a pattern by Thread Geeks based off of artwork by Chrissa Bug. I think everything with Chrissa Bug is currently retired from Thread Geeks. I'm not sure if she's working with anyone else at the moment. When I started the month, I only had this top diagonal done. So I got quite a bit done. I think it was like around 3,000 stitches this month just on this project. But I'm very, very happy with all the progress on the tree. Kind of finding my way through the wolf. Getting some progress there just to find my way to that point. Yeah, I'm just very happy with it. This is on a 22 count water gray, I think, hardanger by Zweigart. Just using called for because it's full coverage, so not going too crazy. I am doing all of the 310 or black in sulky, just because the coverage is a bit better. And then other than that, the only thing I worked on for the month, I'm doing a very heavily modified version of Milestone Manor. Also by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I'll put a card up for that. And I discussed my modifications in my video last month, so I'll probably link to that as well. But for my progress for this month, I did an additional 400 stitches, which was what I'd rolled to do. So I got some work done on this fox. I did exactly 400, even though I wanted to go beyond that. And I've rolled again for my next chunk. It's another 400 stitches. Haven't started that yet, but I should actually hit a milestone on this next bit of progress. So that will be very nice. This is Folk Christmas Fox by X Cross Stitch Patterns X. And this is just an 18 count that I dyed at home using Rit dye. I think this is frost gray with a little bit of graphite. And I did this just using a mason jar to get this modeling. The two ways that I tend to do home dye are either mason jars if I want it more modeled, or if I want it a bit more evenly done, I'll use just one of those disposable aluminum trays. I'll use it quite a bit, but it's, you know, just a couple bucks, and it works great for most cuts unless you're trying to do something really large. But that is all I worked on for February. Like, I got quite a bit done. Like I said, I did 5 finishes, 16,500 stitches. But I kept pretty on board with everything I intended to do, only some really minor changes. I am going to go ahead and show what I'll be doing for March, just because I already know what that's going to be. Bear with me one moment. Okay. My extra large project for March is going to be Unseelie Forest Witch, which is another pattern by Thread Geeks. Based on artwork by Chrissa Bug. Also on a 22 count. This is more of a cream hardanger. I undid quite a bit that I'd done before. I need to take a little bit of tape to kind of move some of the fuzzies. Because it was regular 310. I did not like the coverage. I will be redoing it with Sulky. And this one I did a middle start because I think my margins were a bit more narrow and I just wanted to make sure on this one. The other one I felt more confident about the margins. For my finishes, one of them is going to be Make Your Own Magic by Broomsticks and Bobbins. And I'll talk more about the fabric and floss and all of that on my actual March video, but this will be one of my finishes. And then my other two, I'm actually doing restarts, so I'll post pictures of the patterns here. Vampire by Create Your Desire, and then Mushroom Book by White Protea Art. Those will both be my other two finishes. My Whip Go pulls for March are Night Stalker's Calling floss for one of them, and for that project I am doing I think this is just called Halloween Sampler by Nara X Stitch Designs. I'm using, I think this is Pumpkin Cane for the floss color. There's a couple that are really similar, but also distinctly different. I'm not sure which one this one is, but I do know it's Night Stalker's Calling. Very, very beautiful floss. So that'll be one of my Whip Go pulls. And then the other one is a restart, which will be Cara by Witch's Garden Crafts. I think I talked briefly about hoping to do that last month and I traded it out with something else. So that will be a restart for this month. And then in general, some of my other projects for the month are going to be Mother Earth by Tinsel Cross Stitch. Hopefully this is showing up okay. Beautiful. Oh, I love the tone on tone on this one. It's I love it. In person it's showing up great. Hopefully it is on camera as well. Like I said, the holder for the phone is right over part of this. I'm also going to be working on Dancing Witches by Raven Stitchcraft. This one I know is not showing up right. It's a little bit better. Not great, but there we go. That's more accurate for the fabric color. That's Dancing Witches. And then the other one, I don't know if YouTube will be angry with me for showing this one, so we'll see. It is Mother Vulva by Wonder Hobby. I probably won't show it just in case, but because it's very clear what what it is based off of. But it's delightful pattern. I absolutely love it. It's wonderful. But those will be my 9, and then, like I said, I'm hoping to get some more work done on Folk Christmas Box this month. But yeah, that's it. I have been doing a lot more reading. Nothing nothing great, but it's like I'm enjoying myself. It's fan fiction. I'm having fun. I'm also writing a little bit more, not a ton, but I think I'm gonna have a goal to try to write at least, 100 or 200 words a day, just to keep that going. Similar with stitching, just a little bit every day is great. Any bit is progress. It'll lead to a lot in the end. Maybe half an hour of reading every day at minimum, just to keep my hand in there. But that's it. That's what I've got going on right now. Hopefully this video is a little bit shorter and more manageable than my last couple have been. But either way, thank you very much if you stuck around for all of this. I appreciate you. I'll probably wait until the end of March unless things get a little bit weird. I have been kind of wanting to revisit some of the projects I worked on in January, just as like extra things to work on. I've been wanting to stitch on them some more. So depending on if I do and how much, whether it would make the video unmanageable, we'll see if I'll do a second one or not. But definitely at the end of March. So see you in a month, friends. And in the meantime, try to remember to get enough water, stay safe, take your meds if you need to, and focus on what makes you happy. I'll see you next time.